Okay, so it's 5 after 4. This is, I mean, I'm having such a weird time. Like, yeah, where my face got cut. I don't know if you can see the bruises through all my blotchy skin, but that goes like this, and then it goes across here. And so it's got this, but this part is all yesterday. It was really swollen. And what makes me nervous about it is because I think they're putting something in the tissues. It's weird. And so I would say the tissues. I'm fully disclosure. I also wipe my nose with my sleeve. No, I don't think it's anything. No, I wipe my nose with a paper towel. I wipe my nose with toilet paper too. So I ordered the handkerchiefs. They're going to be here today. And so I'm going to start using those. But for these weird sores, to get around here, and then for these people to be getting like staph and shit, because there's like stuff that we have on our skin, and there's stuff that we have that's in us and stuff. They're trying to activate it to make us sick, because everything is about putting us out of sync, getting our dominoes to quit falling the way they're supposed to. And so these ones around my nose, it seemed like they were getting better, but they'll all of a sudden start getting, is this one the other day, start getting really puffed up again. And it's like, what the fuck is there's like little nanos stuck here or something? And so for this one to be so close right there where I'm wiping and stuff, it's like, fuck, man. And it hurts. Oh my God, I could not believe yesterday. My headache is so shit still. But my jaw and everything was hurting so much because this lamp came flying down. This is my own retardation. As I had this little closet thing, and they have there's no light in it, so I had this lamp thing. It was like one of those on a bar, So I hung it, so it went down on the light thing hung down. I gotta do something that's not so rigged. But anyway, so when I was in there painting, I bumped the cord or something and just knocked the whole thing. It came out of the ceiling and fell on my face. And so it hurt. And I was just like, what the? But it is, I swear to God, the archons or the dark energy, whatever it is on full fucking attack. The shit is every fucking thing that I touch or move, everything is just like, oh, you want that? Look, you get that? Oh, that's like, oh my God. The dog's intensity. Oh my fucking God. This morning, Max made me lose my fucking mind. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is I just motherfucking woke up. This is the moment I make a move. The second. They already have been trying to wake me up. And I'm just so uncomfortable. I got the one thing with all of the mold or mildewed wood or whatever being out. Definitely feels like the air feels lighter. It's so weird. It's very trippy. Because him and I both noticed, like, geez, isn't that weird? Because everything just feels lighter. And so that wet wood, the energy, the density of that, what's growing or something, that's like the darkness growing. Darkness growing around you when you don't see and how it affects you. Because then once that was gone, it was dried up. The light came in and dried it all up. Which today we should have a toilet again. He's like so close to the, but it's been the whole thing because of how the floor was so many different things. So he's been trying to do that, but he got it. Everything's like all perfect. He's got half the floor laid. So he's gonna, but he had some bonding stuff he had put on, so he's waiting to do. So today he's gonna do the other half, and he's still got to trim and put the toilet on. And so then it's all, I think that's all the stuff for him that he was gonna get done. And I still have some more like painting and stuff. I'm gonna try and do some stuff to the tiles and stuff. So I have, I'm trying to make it all like, even though it's like recycling a lot of old stuff or whatever, I'm trying to fix it all. So it's all like not, because for the whole time I've lived here, it's just been getting more and more run down. And the leak is only, or the water rot or whatever, I guess what it was, a lot of it too, was the water coming out of the tub, because he thinks that he thinks when they replaced the toilet, they didn't replace the donut thing, so they didn't replace the wax. It's like in between the toilet and the floor, you have this waxy thing that it sits on, and it kind of mushes down. So it's kind of like a glue adhesive thing, but it's not permanent. And so you can scrape it up, but it's like a thick, dense wax or something. But you can't reuse it. It becomes like withered away or something. It comes kind of dry and hard. I can see something, but I don't know how to compare it to. But there's other things, you know, that we can have, and it's all cushioned, and then after you use it a while, it becomes, but you don't have to change it out on your toilet. Your toilet, it can rest on it, you know, it becomes like its thing, but then when you replace it, it goes with that toilet. You gotta put a new one. He said he thinks that they used the same one because it was leaking around there. So it was leaking around the toilet, and then how they put the floor up to the tub, and they didn't caulk it. They didn't so it was, the water is just running down and getting in the floor, so it was going from both directions. So this whole big section was the part where I was saying it seems like it's gonna fall through. And when he started doing it, he said he thinks, yeah, it was. That's what's the magic of the universe. It's like, I'm gonna take you right to the brink, and then we're gonna turn shit around real quick. And so it's like once you start getting on that ride, you kind of ride those out like a roller coaster. I was still sat in there, you know. I'd sit on the toilet and be, okay, guys, you guys that know you got a plan, so it'd be nice if I knew. And it's always, you know, don't you worry, it's fine. Just trust. And so now it's like I have this new bathroom without it having to be a new bathroom. And I'm all jacked up too on that. I mean, because I had put this sink on, because I don't remember what all was wrong with the sink too. I was all eaten through. This has one spot in the tub, which I think I can fix it, but I got a bath mat that does the whole bottom of the tub. So I was like, well, that'll look much better than like the old tub, because it's got those old, you know, the old tubs they used to come with, or I'm pretty sure it came with it, some anti-slip thing, but it's all worn down, and so it just looks old. And so I'm gonna put one of those like nice new things on the bottom where you don't step on the tub part, you just are on this rack thing or something. And then and that's only like 15 bucks. And my other mat thing was just yuck. I don't like it anyways. And when I sat on it in the tub, it would make marks like into your skin and stuff. It was uncomfortable. So anyways, I'm glad to be rid of that one anyhow. I don't know if this one will be more comfortable, but it'll look better. That's the shallow side of life. So anyways, but it's so exciting. Every time I go and I look, it's just like, oh my gosh. And what is so trippy too, is I would have never would I have gone and said, oh, I'm gonna paint my bathroom blue and purple. Yeah, that's what I do. And the purple is like, oh my God. It's like a purple that I'll see. And this is why I said it's really important for you to register what you love as you're going through life. Because it's like a color that it's like so many registers are popping into my mind right now. But it's a color that I've registered, like, oh, I love this color. It's like a dusty, violety, dusty rose kind of. It's really pretty, I think. It's like an antique violet or something. It's really cool looking. And so it says it's a mist tint. So I don't know what the color the people were looking for, because it was just a sample when it was tiny, for $2. And then my bigger gallon I got for 15. And it was blue. And so when I go up to the rack and I was looking at it, and there was 2 gallons, and one was this really weird orange color. It was not orange. It was like more of a, if you were doing your house in natural colors, and my bathroom isn't like that. It's more bright colors. And so in the other paint had blue, and it had the same blue, which I didn't even realize was so much the same that I held the rugs up and my towels up, and it's the same. I was like, what the fuck is the chances of that? Like, seriously. And another weird thing too is The decorations I have in there were my daughter's from a long time ago when she was married to him, and it was their decoration. So he's in there doing it. It's just, and they match perfectly. And I'm like, isn't that the weirdest thing? Like they were always meant, because the colors match so perfect. It's so trippy. And but that's, to me, that's the magic of the universe, when you can really calm yourself and ride the ride. Because, like I said, I would never have gone in and gone like, I'm gonna paint the bathroom blue. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some purple too. It was just like, I looked at those colors and I was like, okay, I'm trusting you guys, let's do it. And you know, I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? It's a $17 mistake. You just get some other paint over, right? So I was like, I'm in, let's do it. And then I put them up and I was like, oh my God, I love these colors. Like, fuck, you guys know your shit, man. And so, so anyways, that's just exciting, the whole thing. And another trippy thing too, is I was talking to my son-in-law, and like, you know, he's been working, but we, you know, sitting, we'll be talking about something or whatever. And I said, you know what's weird is that because my daughter, when they got divorced, right? And I said, what's weird is, like, you're mourning this person who you were with, but that person was gone for all of us. Everybody in the family, that person was gone. Like, we've all had to mourn her. That, and it's just trippy, is like how you are this distinct person at different times of your life. And then you have like a shuffle, like where you're trying to find yourself, because like parts of you didn't feel authentic. And I think this is what I was telling him too, and I've said it to you guys so many times, but I really believe how much that this stuff has to do, like the pain and trauma of doing it with relationships, because there's so much about young people, because they've been together since like right at high school, right when they were getting out of high school or just gotten out, and then they've been together this whole time. And then there was the big wedding, you know, that we had right before quarantine. And then, whatever, a year and a half into quarantine, it was like, and then, but to me, so much has to do with us as people to develop ourselves, to find ourselves, because it's kind of like we use each other to find ourselves, and then we get disappointed in the other people, but it's kind of like we're disappointed in different sides of ourselves, because I think so much of the time is not being authentic and trying to figure out who you are, especially when you're young and you can meld into the other person and they become a part of your identity, and then you start being like, well, you know, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Because that's a whole soul journey. You know, that's what Matthias de Stefano said, that like when you're in the heavens, that is the thing that initiates the energy to want to discover itself. Is, you know, you get to the point where there's no judgment, there's nothing, just nothingness, the great abyss, which people like to think of as the heavens, but it is a place where there's no judgment or anything. And it's when there's no judgment, there's nothing to bounce off of, then he said that the soul is there and it feels nothing, so it says, you know, who and what am I? And that is where you go back into, so you think of, it's kind of like descending. When you ask the question, you go down to see, who am I? What am I? And then it's like the journey to discover yourself. And think of it micro, macro, because we live it in each life, a discovery, a self-discovery of, even if we don't understand it in the life review, then you go over things and you see yourself, you understand yourself. Through this stuff, man, I've seen sides of myself that I never fucking knew. Like, I'm fucking chasing Max around. Like this morning, this was mental. So last night was another rough night as usual. Rough, I'm telling you. And the doghouse is rough. And then this energy, I don't know what the fuck, in these weird pains that I keep getting in my body. And the headache and my face hurting trying to lay on it. And so anyways, it was just uncomfortable the whole fucking night. And then the dogs would get up periodically and start making demands and stuff, and I was just like, oh, stop. It's like not being able to sleep and feel rested or something. It's like I just keep being in this like other world. And this other world, it is like I can see how it speaks to you through dreams. Because last night there was an intermingle of a dream. It was like my mind was, he came out to go outside and I was asleep. And it was like all of a sudden I was dreaming he was doing something. And then all of a sudden he opened the door and was like, oh, he really is. Like it's, so it was like your consciousness, it like speaks to you through dreams. Like dreams aren't just nothing. I think there's a great a validity to journaling your dreams and tracking them. If you're confused over your communication, I think you would find that you have communication in there. It's just it's kind of like they communicate how they think you're going to understand or something, or how your mind does, because I can't tell you exactly who you're communicating with. And I don't buy into all these ones that are all in, well, the name of this one, you know, this one's name and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. Because to me, that is just, I don't know, it's so three-dimensional and stuff. Like, I don't know that, the thing with names and stuff, I don't know, it's weird. Do we really have all names? I think we have a harmonic. We have a sound of us or something. And maybe that sound is like, you know, kind of like that. Like if we were to say our name and we were trying to represent, like, but it's not like we need names in the heavens. It's like we can feel our, oh yeah, that's trippy. Because the feeling, but what we're feeling is not like feelings here, but it's like an energy thing, like a okay, because I see a couple different things. It's kind of like what I was saying with the spider webs, and how it would trip me out when I would be watching, because it was like the things that fly around, it was like it could sense when it got close, and it would turn. And so I was watching, I was thinking, I bet you they can feel when they're flapping their wings, the change in the pressure or something that the web puts out, some kind of a frequency or something, so it turns them. So then I was like even more like, whoa. So when a spider catches something, that's trippy, because they have like this extra sensor to pull away or something. I don't know, but that's what it looks like in observation. But so I would say it's kind of like that. It's like the energetic barrier. It's not, your energy can feel like something from another energy. It's not like we just meld into each other. Like, is that, yeah. Because the part where everybody absorbs into each other is like the abyss or something. I swear to God, I don't think that souls, I don't think the abyss is full of souls that are just all sitting there like, I don't like to do anything. I don't want to know who I am. I don't want to reincarnate. I don't want to do that. It's almost like it's automatic. As soon as you come to the who or what am I, you're shown. Just like everything, as soon as you think of it, you're there. So I think as soon as the soul is, what am I? It's like a natural thing, it's like nature. It's like energy in nature. It's like they're a constant. They are going to keep doing what they do. It's not like they are going to, we're going to do the new revised universe this year. We are doing a new revised, but it's not like a new revised. It's like a new revised, but It's not like, oh, that one had something wrong. No, think of, I bet you there was so much fucking soul expansion through the lives and shit that have been going on here. I think that is something that we're gonna kind of see, the ascension, you know, of the souls evolving. Is I think it has something to do with, you know, you being able to really not just focus on this life journey, but to look at your whole soul's journey, to see you as a being, as a eternal being, and to, you know, consider your soul's journey, your life's journey. And so I think that that is this great expansion or whatever, but but it's like the creation of a new reality. It's the creation of a new list of events, a new, what are those things called? When they do those big concert things, and everybody's been going to those. They may have some popular ones. I don't know, the 3-day, 5-day concert blowout thing, and all these different bands. So it's kind of like that. It's like, I don't know why I'm seeing that, and I don't know how I got there, so if I seem confused, I am. Like, what the fuck, how did I get there? So it was, so realities, because realities have to do with opportunities to learn, and it's not just learn. It's not like, oh, you know, like how we look at it, go to school and learn something. It's experience. Seems more accurate of a word, but it's a learning experience, because going through the experience expands you, because you're learning, you grow. So it's learning, but it's like, I don't know, it's just got a different energy, because it is the expansion of the universe through our existence. So in the where you go into the heavens, where I think everybody hangs out more, like if I were to guess, if I were to look at it in a gauge or something, and we put up a ruler in the 12th, so if you said 12 was the top, I would say that would be in the 11 or 12 is probably where the abyss is where the, yeah, it's weird, because it's like the end, but it's like the beginning, because it's like where you would think of the source of all things. This is, some of this stuff is like Matías de Stefano, but it's like how it went into my mind. So it's how I translated and understood the things he spoke of, which there was so much when I was watching his stuff that was like, it was like memory. Like, I really, really like that show. It's on Gaia channel, if I haven't said it lately, and it's Matías de Stefano, and it's called Initiation, I think. And I don't know how many seasons there are now. I had seen the first couple, I think. But he has a lot of good information, and I think when you watch it, there's things that you're just like, oh, yeah, okay, I get that, yeah. It just all of a sudden makes sense. And so, it has a lot of things. So anyways, if I was to look at the ruler, oh yeah, because the ending and the beginning, because you think of, okay, because I picture that, what is that called? The Fibonacci, just the swirl, the natural swirl thing, how things grow. Like if you look in, I keep seeing a shell, but it's in more things, but it's this twisting, curling. It's called something like a Fibonacci or carbon, I don't know. But you would think that would be the source of the energy, would be we were all coming from that. But then it's when you get way out here, where we've gone through this, and you get way out here to the number 11 or 12, where there's no, it's like we've lost all judgment. We've let go of all judgment, and you get to that place, and that is the place of no, it's nothingness. And the so in that place, then you would think that's the end. But that's where you would think of that you're the closest to God. So see what I mean? It's like the beginning and the end. That's trippy. It's like that same thing they've always kind of confused with the chicken or the egg. But it is. It's like, it's hard to tell between the beginning and the ending. And that's what we're going through. And for many people, it is the ending. But for me, I just keep focusing on the beginning, which to me, that again tells you it's where you focus. It's how you relate to what's happening. And if it's deep in your soul, you're relating to it the way you're supposed to. Don't go say, oh, some lady on YouTube told me I need to do this different. You know, what I'm telling you is you got to get in touch with yourself. Yourself has a roadmap. I don't know your roadmap. I don't know your shortcuts. I don't know your long ways. I don't know who you're going to meet along your way. Now, I don't want to be entangled in that. I don't want to misdirect anybody. So I say your guidance is in you. Your whole thing is learning how to trust it. And I'm trying to share also perspective in a world that is full of bullshit. And in very limited perspective, creating so much division and stuff. So I'm trying to like broaden that that atmosphere, you know, with more. And there's something else popping in my mind. Let me see. Oh yeah, because I just saw this thing this morning and it made me start crying. And it said, fuck, I don't even know if I know what it said. That I don't know, but essentially it was something. That's so weird how it's making me go so blank. But it was but the thing that made me cry, the thing that got me sad about it was I was like, man, there really has not been for any of us. There hasn't been anybody where we had like that we had full on trust, that we have role models and stuff like that. Like we really haven't had people in our lives walking the walk. And so, man, it just hit me all of a sudden. It was like, fuck, man, how weird in this world. There's just so much phoniness and fakeness. So much of like, you can't trust this or that. Like people get married for life and can't trust their partner within, you know, all of these different things happen. And people get hurt all the time from each other. But when we're in the victim mentality, see, all we think about is our own pain. And this is the shift. This is where we start acknowledging what we're doing out in the world to create this hostile environment, you know, because it really is when we change, that is when change occurs. Each of us taking responsibility, and we don't need to sit back because there's so much of that. Oh, well, so I am to change, nobody else has to change, so it's just me. And that's the wrong attitude to have. That's and you know, that I think is also to be able to understand more with science or whatever, that the 100th monkey and the energy and how one person changes sends it whole out. One person looking in the mirror creates everybody to have to look in the mirror, and it has its time to flow, and that's what we're in, this time of flow. And that's where they're changing so much of the information that is coming to the people, because it's to get them to look at things differently and get them to open their minds and to see. But that is why right now, because they were trying to create idols. They were trying to just create people that you worship. But it was so much false. It was a fake world, and people looked up to people and, you know, admired them and had them be role models, but it was all fake. And so this time in the world, this is where it really is. Okay, yeah, it was something about the people who have, something about when you go out and you heal your pain, when you go through your stuff and you heal your pain, it's like you're writing a recipe for someone else to, like, you don't realize how much that helps everybody because you're just focused on yourself. But everything is like, it's like the 100th monkey. It's like the monkey who figured out how to open the thing changed every monkey's life. It's like the monkey who figures out how to open and look at things different changes everybody's life. Oh yeah, that's why they were trying to always, oh, so scientists and stuff, the great minds, the brilliant minds, they wanted him. They didn't want him over trying to figure shit out by themselves. That's probably why we haven't seen that kid for a while, where people are saying that kid's around. I don't know. There's something that they get control over. The same thing with talented people. They want to get them, here, we'll give you a good job. And you just have to, I don't think, they give you so many contracts and so many papers, and you start hiring professionals to help you out with all this paperwork. But the professionals are part of the corrupt system. So you just get more fucked. There's so many, like the whole thing with the managers and agents and stuff like that. And they end up being kind of handlers. And I think that they even, some people start falling apart. They go get them drugs and stuff. I think that they're a part of getting some of these people hooked on drugs. Some of these handlers and stuff. It's like they just want to make money off of them. They just don't care about the person. And then the thing that they're always trying to do is create the idol so that they can direct us through this idol. And then the science, so it's like, so school, fuck yes, it always is. Motherfucking, and God, I've said this about those school. It's all this fucking filtering thing. They get all these kids in there, and then they see, those kids, you don't just, especially if they see like brilliant minds, then it's like, oh, we're going to put them in the next school, so we'll give them a grant. And funny enough, I've been saying this for years. I've been telling my kids, I was telling them 5-6 years ago or something, that the universities were going down. They're involved in way too much shit, man. They're going down. And even before my granddaughter started, I was like, no, don't go. Fuck them. And then everybody's like, God. And my granddaughter took it like, I don't think she's smart enough. She deserves to. And she wanted that experience that they've been selling in the shows. She's in this sorority and has all that, that thing they've been selling kids for a long time. And she's enjoying her life. And so but they're all going to be going down. These pieces of paper that they're making you pay for have no value. Here, real quick. And but the money is gonna also, as my son-in-law was like talking about his school loan, I was like, they're gonna all be going to all this bullshit. The banks are taking it with them, and so the government take it with you, and but Trump's already come out. He's already said. They're starting the lawsuits on the universities. I knew that was coming. I knew that was there's gonna be such big things. This is literally, if you think in micro and macro, it's the fucking clash of the titans. This is the battle of, that's why it's the good and the evil. It's it is the David and Goliath. It is the evil that built itself up into the giant, and then the small man is gonna take it down. But it's the whole village now is there, and it's like, we've all got our shit. We're in this together, and that's the whole thing with where we go, getting that into people's mind. And there's another slogan thing too, because it's true, because we are that energy. Once we go, yeah, we're all going, because it's our energy, and they've been misdirecting it and creating chaos, but this is pulling us all in together. And so, and there will be some that are going to feel like the outsiders, but that's going to be because their own darkness. Just keep working on your own darkness. This whole thing is about letting go of the darkness, and don't feel shame that you have some, because we all have it. It's impossible. You can be here and not have any. And we all have dark sides. Like, this morning I saw myself losing my mind when Max. It's like every motherfucking morning it's the same shit. I go in and start my teapot, go pee, come back in, start making my tea. And Stella's right there immediately. Time for my treats. And so I give them all a treat, and they all sit there eating their treats while I'm making my tea. And then usually they eat them as fast as they can because they want another one and another one. And so I give them their treats, and fucking Max starts losing his mind. He won't eat it. He just is having it hang out of his mouth, and he's just running around the house crying. They're still back there sleeping. I'm like, oh my God. And so he's running around crying because he doesn't know what to do. And so then Stella wants to go outside because they're all finished their treats and he's still doing it. And I keep telling him, give it back to me, give it back to me. And he wouldn't give it back to me. And he acts like he goes crazy over that kind of stuff. Like I could take something right out of Stella's mouth and she wouldn't do anything. He gets like, he's got that street thug in him. And so then when I open the door, he goes running out there. So then he's running around outside crying. And it's raining. It's raining pretty hard. And when I open the door, I hear this like really creepy, like, what is there? Some witches in the forest laughing and cackling? What the fuck is going on? And so I'm standing there listening and listening. And then I hear some more stuff and some more stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. And earlier when my son-in-law was outside, this was way earlier, it was like around 11:30, he said, man, I think those people, not the house next to you, but the one next to them, they're outside yelling. I think they're fighting or something. And I told him about some other weird stuff they've done. And then, so, yeah, I'm out there, so hours and hours later, and it sounds like another party or something. And they're out there just and turning music up and all this. I was like, what in the holy hell? 4 o'clock in the morning, I guess, is like no big deal to you guys. So, but Max wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop. He's still running around. I'm trying to get it. I'm like, just give it back. And then he's running, and I just couldn't believe it. So I'm trying to grab him, and he's going crazy, and he's jumping all over the place. He luckily has that sweater on, because I finally grabbed that sweater, and I take him back outside when he came back in. I said, just go back outside. Oh, yeah, because anything I tell Max to do, Archie has decided he's my handler. He's the one who's going to get it done. So he goes in full on for the attack on on Max. And then when he does it, he, of course, has to jump off the couch, jump onto Stella, jump across to attack him. Stella jumps up and starts screaming. Archie doesn't give a fuck. He's just busily over here barking his head off, getting up in Max's business. Just fucking Archie is such a character. He is like, I don't even know how. He acts like I don't know. It's like, you wouldn't think he's the smallest guy in the room, the way he acts. He's like, yeah, you want this? You want some of this? Like the way he scares that other dog, but Stella scared that other one too the other day, because he was sitting in there just looking at me while I'm cooking, just like giving me the puppy dog eyes, like I just like a little treat, wouldn't I? And I was so I'm just sitting there cooking whatever I was doing, and all of a sudden Stella comes pouncing in, and I know I wasn't paying any attention, and she just slams into him and fire. And then he jumps up and runs out of the room. But he had done that to her a couple times, but he did it a little more aggressively. So anyways, there's definitely dog drama in this tiny little place when I keep on thinking, like, is there about to be a motherfucking earthquake? What the fuck? But the energy is so intense. Like, I can't even believe how intense this energy is. It is crazy how much it's affecting. It's definitely affecting my mood. It's definitely affecting my sleep. And I think it has got to have something to do with some of these weird things in my body. Oh, that was probably the bus. Like, all the sounds, like everything is so loud. It's like, God, I don't know, everything is so intense right now. It's like, oh my God. And not having a toilet, like, it's like this camp toilet. I'm like, I think I've filled the camp toilet at this point. I'm just gonna get that toilet and put it on top of the other toilet and drain it into that toilet and then clean the camp toilet. So once the toilet's on and stuff, and then I've got other things too, other stressors, and he's had to go back, several times to get more things, and so we went and got things. So I have a bunch of stuff that I can go return, but my one daughter was asking me if she could borrow $20. So I kept trying to send it. It wouldn't work. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go on and look at him. I was like, oh shit, I've got $8 on my account. And he's out. I was like, whoa. And I saw that he had gotten some stuff. So I was like, man, I wonder if he had enough. I wonder what happened. And so then when he got back, he said he had had enough and everything. Everything went through, but other things now have come in or something, because now it's $30 overdrawn, and I have no bank around here, so it's not like I can run down the bank and put money in, because I'm gonna go take that stuff back, but it's still like, I've got to have it. So I asked my mom if I could borrow some money, because then she can Venmo me, and then Venmo goes into my account. But yeah, I don't have my banks nowhere around here. I think the closest one's like Seattle or something, but they were in Spokane. And I tried to get one over here, and then, I don't even remember. I think when all of the bullshit started, then it was like, just go down to one account. Stop having these two accounts. And because it was being too much, and I don't remember. I should have kept the one over here. But anyways, it's worked okay so far. But when stuff like this happens, it's like, oh, fuck. So, but this is also those kind of things. Like, I just go with the flow, don't stress, it's gonna be fine, there's nothing real about it. Even when they tell you owe them money or whatever for their fucking, for trying to take money out that wasn't there or something, it's all an illusion. I used to get so fucking worked up of like, oh, bank charges and stuff like that, especially after my brain injury. I got like $900 in bank charges in 1 month. It was like, fuck, man. And it was like, that was when I wasn't even working yet, because I was still off from the surgery. God, there was so much chaos in my life for so long. But yeah, so back in when you are working and you're going through all that shit and you're actually healing, you're actually making a real wave in the world. You're really taking it in a new direction. And that is kind of like this creation of role models. It's the creation of direction, which I look at as like light holders. It's just like, this is my path. And I think it more of not to try and walk somebody else's path, but to see that things can change. Like, you can be at your worst and you can change it. You don't want to stay at your worst. You can fucking change aging. Like, it's still like, I couldn't even believe it this morning when I went. I was like, oh my God, it's barely there. So exciting. And I got the zinc yesterday, so I've taken a zinc, and I had been on the vitamin D for a couple days, because those are things too that when I was looking in for some of my symptoms, that those symptoms are from certain mineral deficiencies. And that's what I'm saying is, like, they take these things away and then they create these things, but the things are inside of us already, like the sicknesses and stuff. But the ones I've seen are where people are getting like, oh my God. So yeah, I want to be really careful about whatever's on your skin and stuff, getting into any kind of things. And then there's some, I swear to God, they're nanos or something. Because even my son-in-law said that he had gotten these weird things, and they're not like zits. They're like these really weird things, these weird bump things. And so, anyways, just be aware of that. And back to the science, guys. So in the school, which I've said, because it's like this filter system, it's like they're moving and like, oh no, you're gonna go this direction. Like, I think like they'd have your school counselors, like, what do you think my school counselor was telling me when I was doing all those tests and not doing them? And then my things in school were that test, because that was a big thing when they started doing that. And so it showed I don't know how smart you were or how whatever it was they were looking at. And but then in class, when they would have us go in and teach, and then teachers would sit and lecture and just sit and talk, then I would, it would hypnotize me, and I would just leave, and I would have no idea. I was gone. I mean, I was gone. I knew I was gone. I knew I was doing things, but had no idea, and I sure didn't know how to stop it. And then all I was getting told was like I was a daydreamer and stuff like that. But see, they also, I don't know that they knew so much, because think about how old education is. So I don't think that they knew so much that we couldn't be programmed as well, because I wasn't in there. I was somewhere else. And so if the programming didn't work so well, so then they started being like, okay, well, we're going to have to medicate these kids. We got to have them pay attention so that we can program them and get these things inside of them, because there's lots of programs that people run that I don't run, but I see through them. And so I think that probably, the programming just wasn't as effective. But, I mean, there was hard things, being in school and stuff for me. And going to the counselor and stuff, like, yeah, they weren't telling me, oh, yeah, you can really achieve something. You're going to do great things in this world. I don't even know what they told me. I don't remember. They're like, well, at least you got a good body. No, because I didn't even have I was a very tall, skinny, gangling. But I don't know, it was the older guys, and all of a sudden it was, started, I had no idea. But in high school, though, it was like, no, I was like a doofus looking thing, I think. The guys were like, hey, you're an Amazon. Oh, you're the president of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. So it's like not the same things to the younger guys as it was older guys. But but anyway, so I was definitely not getting told. I was going places in school, and I don't even remember. But that is where there's a direction where they start. Oh yeah, well, we can get you in this school. I bet you there's some fucking back room fucking. Yeah, even with those sports people. Yeah, there is all that shadiness, but it's like what schools need what money and what they're. It's all so fucking shady, and they just use people. Everything is just using people. So you have these great minds, these scientists and stuff, that think in this certain expansive direction. They see things that other people don't see or something, and they can understand things that other people don't even think about. And so the vamps want to have control over that. And that's why we got so many mad scientists, so many crazy motherfuckers. But the good ones, it's like they're able to take them out. They'll silence them or something. You can't, they use you, get your information and stuff, and then they take you out. And I just saw a thing too where somebody was saying Tesla's coming back. And he never was really gone. And he's just living his best life. I don't know, because you got so many of these people saying all sorts of stuff. And it's like, I don't know if it's purposeful misinformation, or if it's paranoia, or if it's rabbit holes. I don't have any idea. And but there's gonna be people come back. I think Elvis, that guy is definitely Elvis. I think most of the people, I'm not gonna say most of the people, but the people who are in the awakening community and stuff, I think are all like, yeah, that's Elvis. Michael Jackson's supposed to be back. I think Anne Heche is gonna be back. Paul Walker may be back. I don't think Brittany Murphy's coming back. But I was thinking, man, yeah, that breakup was not, she should have just, like, I think she knew too much and stuff, because now that's coming out. And now I just look at Ashton as like, you're a fucking murderer, dude. Because that girl he was going on a date with, too, isn't that just kind of weird how she ends up goner before he gets there? Oh, I came to the door, knocked, she never came to the door. Well, that's weird, because it was only like a short little block of time from the guy who was at her house banging her had just left, and then he says when he left she was fine. And I don't know, I think there's proof or something. I don't remember if there's like text or something. And then there's this like blank spot or something, because she said, well, she had to get ready because Ashton was taken to this party. And so the other guy left, and then she started to get ready, and then he comes to get her and says, oh no, she was nowhere. So I don't know, because Brittany Murphy, because I think she was going and saying all this stuff like he has a really tiny little thing, and she was making this whole thing like trying to humiliate him, which I don't know if she was just saying it or what. Oh yeah, because that's when he got together with Demi Moore, and she was saying it, and she was like, she was trying to be like, oh, well, I guess Demi likes really micro, or something. I don't remember. You'd have to look up that beef if you could even find it. But I remember when it went on, and I remember when, and Brittany Murphy, because she really liked Ashton, it seemed, but whatever went down, I don't know. But then, he ends up, but she was working, so many of these people, Paul Walker, the guy, those musician guys, so many of these people start working on this documentary about the traffic and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden they're all like gone, red tie. And then, but the stuff coming out with Diddler, then it's saying that there's something about if Ashton, there's some kind of link now, because why does he have any link to her? Because it's those two guys are friends, so it's like, oh yeah, I'll get her, I'll take her out, fuck her, it's like these people, it's weird because they think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. But it's like, do you guys not understand that there's a fucking universal law? Like, there's other laws outside of the laws here, and you can't get away with anything. It's like, as long as you're seeing yourself, it's there. And so, yeah, you can't get, but everything is like lessons, just because we already can understand things like there, you have to learn it or play a role for someone else to learn something, because I don't know, that's what everything is really all about. But it's just weird because this is so many different levels of things changing and expanding and growing and stuff. So certain things are all linked out, is a part of our change, a part of our learning and stuff. And then the part of the learning about idolization, having hero worship and stuff, especially when there was no substance, and then how it was so misdirected. But now it's going to be turning more into the substance, and our priorities are going to be changing. So it's not going to be like, oh, they got the coolest car, the coolest clothes, and all that stuff. It's going to be more of about, people's heart and soul, about, they're a good person and caring person, because you can go through all that stuff and not let it harden you. Don't let the world destroy you. Don't let it bring the dark out in you and just leave it out. Put your zip it up and get control of yourself. And so it's you, but those are the challenges, and each soul has their own challenges. But I think there's going to be, when this mass awakening, there's going to be where it seems like the world is soulless, it's going to change real quick to deep feelings of spirituality, deep feelings of purpose and concern and responsibility. It can be such a switch from out of the victim mentality. So many people, and I've noticed this for years, is people awaken the victim mentality in themselves. They start being like, looking at things differently. So that's a big thing that we're draining, a big thing that we're letting go of is, poor me, and it's not my fault, it's them, and all of that. And that leaves you in a place where nothing changes. Nothing changes until you make a change. Nothing changes until you take responsibility to look at things differently and see what you can do. How can you turn things a different way? How can, if you've got all these toxic relationships, what is it that you do? How is it your interactions? Why do you have the same things as you're coming back, your feedback? And so then you can be like, start looking at it. And I think I can see that playing out right now too, with this big movement of these people that are so misdirected and that they think that they're so right. And it's so strange because all evidence in the reality with so many people, it's like they are the minority and the majority has this perspective and the minority has this perspective. So which reality is real? Especially when you start realizing that this one is created by these other people and these other people who have an agenda. There's so much stuff really going about her misspending the money and stuff. All of the things are going to just keep being unveiling, showing more with the crimes and the different states and the different governors, the different judicial, different cops, like all of it. It's all going to keep falling, because it is like, it's like at the Clash of the Titans, these big monster things, but they're built out of Legos. So it's like everything has to keep falling. We're the Legos. We're the foundation it's built on. And so everything of the foundation has to fall apart. And yeah, it's like I'm seeing those bridges and stuff, and all these bridges breaking, but what are they finding when the bridges are breaking? That they're all broken. The drain, all of the infrastructure is all broken. It's all been being revealed to us. The dams are broken. The train things are broken. We got fucking, the roads are all shit. Everything. And what is that? Because it was something I just saw someplace. It's in the news right now with the mishandling of money. Like the money, probably California, the money was supposed to go something towards the roads or towards something, but none of that is fixed and the money's all gone. There's going to keep being more and more of that. And I think it's just to keep kind of showing us, because it's like we have to see all of this, and it's like to have it's not to have it, but we have to, it's like a part of it. It's like the stairs to get to where we're going. It's like the steps to get to the golden pot, the steps to get to the end of the rainbow. So you have to walk, you have to get there. And so all of these things are the steps to get there. And so it is, because it is so attached to this program of consumer, of consumption, of greed, of sometimes I can see the things, but it's like it's harder to come up with the words real quick. But you see what I'm saying? Is it his the certain kind of energy that it's associated with, and so it's all got to be let go of. And that is like every single person has to do each of the work themselves. Not like, like these people who, I don't know, the love and light people who sit there and, let's meditate and we're going to change it. You can't change someone's life. They have to make the changes themselves. We can't change the timelines and change everybody's life into a new life. Everybody has to take the steps to change their life for themselves. That's why it's so absurd when they keep saying this stuff. But everybody has to make their own changes. The world, the universe, Jesus, nobody's going to do the work for you. And the work, as far as what I can understand, is just, elaborating your perspective, opening your mind, looking at more things, and then to begin, because having purpose then takes away that victim mentality. When you start looking as like everything has a reason that happens this way, a reason that it happens that way. And there's a definite long game. Like those flowers that have been hanging on the wall, they were just like hanging on a white wall, then go, but all of a sudden you put on this other color, and it's like, oh my gosh, The middle of the flower is the same color as the wall. And then it's just as weird. And it was like, oh my God, it was always like meant to be here. And I've been having those flowers. I don't know. When she was redecorating one time, I was like, I love those flowers. I want them if you're giving them away. And she's gathering up all her stuff to Goodwill. Because a lot of times, is having all daughters, everybody does that with their clothes or different things. It's like, I'm not going to have this anymore. Do you want it? And so, you know, we trade things around a lot. So, but I've had those flowers for a long time now. It's just trippy because it's like it was always meant to go right here in this bathroom. Because I feel like this is the best they've ever looked at me. And so, anyways, I just find that the universe is magical, and it has been a challenge, you know. I think that it started with the explant thing is where it really stands out to me the most, was where it started having to be like, trust, just trust, just trust, just trust. It was like, I want this to happen, but how do I make it happen? And it was frustrating. It was really frustrating. But also every time that the frustration would lead me into such a heavy, deep purge of emotions and perspective. So it was really cleansing. And so I could see, you know, like the point of it when something drags out, when something's not going the way you want it to go, you know, and then, you know, out of panic, like, or I could have been like, oh my God, the universe is failing me. Gotta fix this bathroom. They're not giving me the money for it. They're not doing anything. So I'm gonna have to, you know, that's where they suck you into their system and stuff. Will get a loan and do this and do that and force it. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make sure. And then a lot of times when you're trying to force something, you just run into things. You know, you have people that will take the job, but then they don't finish it, because I've seen that happen a lot around here. And so then the job doesn't get finished because you're going in the wrong direction. And so sitting and just being like, you know, the floor's rotting around me, and I have no idea if anybody's coming and where, you know, if I'm leaving. I have no idea what the universe has in mind. And I'm just like waiting to see for months and months. I feel like it's years. And but on the explant thing, however long that had been going, I had wanted it. But once that was, once I saw you could do it without the anesthesia, that's what it got me. Well, I was like, fuck yes, I can get these things out. And then start going in that direction, but hitting into walls or something. But see, the walls you hit into are the walls you're supposed to hit into, because it redirects you where you're supposed to go. But then I'm also really trying to take notice of when I'm trying to force things, and when I'm going on the trail, the paper trail, the breadcrumbs, when they're opening a door and I'm going through it, or when I'm pounding on it trying to get in. That's where you got to take notice, and it's very slight. And that's where you got to not be beating yourself down. There's reason things are slight, because they're challenging, and it's a lot of growth and stuff. So, you know, this is a hard game. You're at a champion level of this fucking game called life, I'm telling you. So let me think what it was. Game called life. Okay, I heard that about 50 fucking times. Oh yeah, okay, so when I was going to get it, and this has happened to me so many times throughout my life. That's why this time I wasn't going to do the same thing I did the other times, because there's been so many times where I'm going towards something, vacation, new car, anything, where you're going towards it and you want to get this thing, and you're getting your money together or whatever, and then somehow happens. Something breaks, somebody needs this or whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, so you're never getting to that place. It's like, yeah, I've got this money saved, but now it goes to this. And so always going into that place. And, you know, and always feeling like, well, you're doing the right thing. I'm being responsible. And so then when it was going down this time, So I'm going towards the explant thing. I'm trying to really be mindful of what doors are opening and what doors are closing. I'm trying to really communicate when I'm looking and seeing what it is they're trying to show me. So I'm really trying to see. So how I saw the one pop up that wasn't there before. And I thought, okay, this is the one they want me to call. And then I had no idea who in the thing. And so I was leaving that to the person on the other side of the phone. I was leaving it all to the universe. So they set the appointment and with the person that they said and everything. And I felt like, okay, they're giving me the person. This is the right person. This is, everything's going to be great. Then on the way where I was having so many problems, my GPS wasn't working. It was taking me around in circles in the wrong place. And I was getting so frustrated. And it was so much traffic. And I was like, and that really challenges my brain injury when it gets like that. And when it starts making it where I can't, it's just all this chaos, man. And I'm sure it has something to do with the energy too, and it's so chaotic and I can't relax or think or something. So then when I went in and then he was like, oh no, we can't do that. Then I was like, what the holy hell? But it was like for days ahead of time that they had kept telling me that he was going to say no, but think about it. And he would think about it. And so, but still, the reaction came, and I was just so frustrated. I'm yelling at the universe, like, what the fuck? And I'm just kicking my own ass the whole fucking drive home. Like, God, how fucking stupid. Like, why in the fuck did you do this to yourself? Like, what in the holy hell, you insecure? Like, just kicking my ass, man. Driving pissed off as fuck. Get here, and I'm just riding on my ass. Oh, you stupid ass. Why'd you ever do this? What the fuck? How am I supposed to get the fuck out of this? And I was like whining and like really letting out a lot of like tension and anger at myself. And then it was just so funny because I was out walking. I think it was just Stella at the time. And I was out walking, and the neighbor, we were standing there talking, and she was asking me, and I was telling her, yeah, sucks. He said, I was telling her all this stuff. He said, I've got to have it all clean, all this stuff. And so I was like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep looking for somebody. But yeah, I was kind of frustrated right now. And so as soon as I walked in the house, the phone rang. And there he was. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Thought about it all night. And yeah, we can do it. Let's do this. I was like, fuck yes. And then it was like, it's so funny because then you see this other side of yourself. I'll be like, okay, maniac, was it worth it? And it's like, yeah, because I really didn't know. I was so mad at myself still. Now I don't feel mad at myself anymore. Now I feel like I've let it go. It's like, you do dumb shit. You're insecure. You're trying to, I don't know. It's so weird because we're not the person we were making the decision. There's so many things. It just trips me out so much. Like with my daughter being mad at me, not speaking to me. It's like you hold on to a version of me that is long gone. You hold yourself in the past being mad at somebody who's no longer there. It's so trippy when you notice these things. So then when he had said that he was going to do it, and so I set the appointment, and I'm like, fuck, I want to get this done because I kept feeling like this money crash is just right there. It's just right there. It's any moment. And so I was like, I got to hurry and get it while the going good. And so I sent over the money, and I was looking at my thing, and I was like, okay, I can fucking go to the food bank and just fucking send all my money and get this done. So I started doing that. We get 2 payments sent, and my car breaks down. And it's like, oh, fuck, I knew. This is the way shit goes, man. Every fucking time you get this dilemma. Which way am I going to go? And this time I was like, I'm going with me. I'm not going with responsible. I'm going with me. If that's irresponsible, then it's irresponsible. And then it started that whole journey, which was a whole bunch of different interactions over the car thing. So there was a lot of interactions on that. So there was lots of lessons and stuff. There was a lot of conversations that were giving me insights or showing me things that I hadn't thought of or saw or whatever. And so it was like all those things are necessary. Then when things don't go as planned, it's for a reason. And so then even when I was driving, I was just like, oh my God, because it ended up, me driving my car with it having these issues. And I was like, fuck, this is so intense. But they kept, and I had cars pulling, like just big trucks. It was like intense. It was like the Archons were like, fuck you. You're not going to be happy. We're going to fuck you. And I had to keep on like, no, I'm ignoring you guys. And the other guys are, trust me, trust us. And they're just moving cars out of the way and shit. And it's like, okay, we're going. It's like, get there. And it was like so fucking magical. Even the music, it was tripping me out. How they were like talking through the music. And I was like, and it's like this battle for good and evil to get there, choosing me. I'm not going to choose your responsible bullshit. It's so funny. And so get there, get it done, come home, and then it was like, oh, I was not, there was a few things, going in and doing the surgery. I don't know. It's a different thing. Like when I was seeing the ones online too, a lot of it just looked like it was like in the office. But then when they go wheeling you in, and plus there's all the morning part where they're coming in and putting this stuff, like, you gotta change, you gotta do this, you gotta put the thing on your hair and all this stuff. I was like, oh, this is getting crazy now. And so then, but then when they put you on the thing, or I think I walked in. Yeah, I walked into the surgery room. But it's the lights, they're all with the stuff, everything's just like, oh, what the fuck have I got myself into? It's like, damn, I should have taken that Valium. And, so it's like, fuck. So I go in there and I'm like, okay, just keep yourself calm. And so lay down and I'm like, I feel like my whole body's shaking. That was intense. And then they could start feeling it, but I was still, just talking and stuff. And he didn't know until I think the second cut that I hadn't taken it. And I was like, I fucking should have taken that Valium. He's like, you didn't take it? I was like, no. But then luckily the girl came over, and this was so trippy too, because I was so focused on what he was doing. I could feel him moving around inside my body and shit. And I was like, oh, this is so good, dude. Fucking creepy. He's fucking putting that fucking drain up in there, and the goddamn drain is like 3 feet long, and he's pushing this tube into me, and then it's like coiling. Oh my God. And I could feel it all. And the girl came over, the one nurse, and started talking to me, because I'm sure they could tell I was like, oh. And so she starts talking to me and asking me things. As soon as she misdirected my mind into telling her stories. So I started telling her the story about the guy who gave me the brain injury and his tragic ending. And so they're all like, really? Because this is a pretty crazy story. And so I'm telling them that story, and I couldn't feel anything. Nothing at all. It was so trippy how you can do that with your mind. Like, you get surgery, and I mean, they had deadened the nerve, like the skin part, but to get this surgery and not even be able to feel it, like, it really has so much to do with our minds. And I saw that back when I was a kid. There was something, because back when I was a kid, don't forget, there was this stuff about psychics and all that stuff. Oh, it was a lure. It was like, get people, they fucking are always doing that. Luring people into these groups so that they can get their abilities and stuff. Because there was so much stuff about, and I had seen, there was a guy, and they were like, is this guy even for real? But he was like supposedly doing surgeries with no instruments or anything. Like, he'd put his hands down over somebody, find the thing, reach in and grab it and pull it out. I was like, what? And then it would be nothing. He was just, and it would be healed. And then, so people were like, oh, is that really happening? So I don't know. I think that was like Inquirer, Star Magazine kind of shit. I don't know, but there was a lot of weird stuff back then, a lot of supernatural things. And then there was a shift. But that makes sense, is to lure people in, because that was one thing. Like, I never got lured in. I was totally into ufology, but I never got lured in. I never went to any of the groups. I never went to any of the stuff. And so it was infiltrated too, I think, for sure it was. Like, I still think there's some weird things with that one woman who started the whole thing with the animal mutilation. Just because when I've seen her talking over the past few years, when she talks so much about space and laughs at the flat earthers, I'm like, okay, there's something up. That's weird. And so, yeah, but everything is this misdirection. I've been saying this whole time, this weird spiritual thing that was, and how misdirected it was. So everything is these lures and misdirecting. Lure the scientists over there, lure the talented people over here, lure. It's like they're always pulling, and then they're taking or misdirecting. So they're taking what they want, or, you know, they'll take your life if you don't do what they want, or misdirecting, mind controlling. Like, there's a lot. So, because there was like this dry up. Yeah, that makes sense. So they lured people into these different groups, and then, but then took control of it, like took control of it. So, but they couldn't get control of us all because we weren't all going and doing it. We weren't all doing the test. We weren't all going and joining groups. So we've always been on the outside. It's the outsiders that are their concern. And they didn't know so much. It's like when stuff started going down, I think too, I swear to God, I just feel like there's something in the DNA. And there's something in that DNA that they were looking, something they were looking for. I just don't know. And I hope that we get to find some of this stuff out. But anyways, so let me think, what was I talking about? So I always luring people. Okay, so the surgery, so when I got, and then when I got it, and then I got home though, oh my God, I could not believe the pain I was in for days. And I was choosing not to go get the pain medicine. Like I could have, like I had a prescription for the oxys and stuff. I didn't ever go pick it up. I didn't go pick up the Valium or the oxys, but I did have the Motrin, I think it was. It was something like Motrin, some anti-inflammatory and some anti-nausea medicine or something, which I ended up using the anti-nausea medicine for Stella when she got sick on one of her sicknesses after I was. But then so I did take the anti-inflammatory a couple of times, and Tylenol, I think. I had the Tylenol 500, which Tylenol 500, people, I don't know that people really realize the milligrams when it starts talking about Tylenol and Advil, because people pop this shit like it's fucking crazy, and your body can only discard 1,000 milligrams of it every so many hours. So you can only take like 2,600 in a 24-hour period or something. And so, and in Advil, because it's like 900 milligrams is the top you can take. So like 1 Motrin or 3 Advil, and it's every 6 hours. So you can take that every 6 hours, but there's still a top amount that you can take, and you're not supposed to go over that. And there's people who pop that shit, like take 3, 4 every couple of hours. They don't realize the seriousness of it, and how much damage it does to your liver. And I'm sure that's why there's a lot of people that's got a lot of sickness and stuff too. Jesus Christ, it's like this. Oh, it's like, I'm gonna do that garlic. I gotta do that garlic. I'm gonna do that garlic today. It's really gross too when you see the people do it. Just snot, but I'm gonna do it. Like, this is ridiculous. So, because it's so congested, but it's like moving or something. It's like starting to go down my throat. I don't know. So, I'll be choking out. So, so on the, because on the Advil and the Tylenol, same thing. Anybody who pops out, I think there's been enough talk. There's more people that have more awareness of the liver failure from Tylenol, I think. But both of them are really bad, and you can't take more than that amount. You can't take more than 1,000 milligrams at a time. So two 500 milligram Tylenols is all you can take for, and I think it's 4 hours, but it could be 6 hours. But I think it's 4 hours. But see, you can't go over 2,600. So it could, I can't remember. It could be 8 hours. It could be 6 and 8 hours. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. But it's one thing that I think that people don't pay attention to or look up. But I had an awareness of it, so I knew I couldn't go over that amount. And oh my God, I was in so much pain. I could not believe it. And so then I had to do using like Mind. over matter and the breathing and stuff. And that is where I found that the moaning and stuff really helps relieve pain. And like howling too. So funny, but it really does. And then let's see, the moaning and the howling, there was another weird thing too. Maybe it was just that. Oh, oh yeah, because there was a part where I was trying to leave away from it, to pull away from it. And then sometimes when I'll do something that's trying to pull away from something like that, then I'll get a message back that no, you're supposed to experience that, because there's things that we learn and we grow and stuff from these experiences. And so there was a lot of things that I realized about pain and stuff, whatever it was that I was going through there. I don't remember, but anyways, and then once I got through that though and started getting into the healing and stuff, and or these people sit there, oh, manifest this and manifest that. There's steps to it. There's things that you go through. You're not just manifesting things to just happen. You're manifesting, you're going in a direction with an intention. Your intention is you want this, you're going towards it, and that is your like I said, there was certain clothes, certain bras and stuff that I kept because I knew eventually so that's what people do when they manifest. You're going towards it, it's going to happen. And so anyways, that was all manifestation, and there was a lot of lessons and stuff because choosing me. And then afterwards, then the car got fixed, even when there was all the whole ordeal about the car, and the part was obsolete, and or they were making them still. But this is the thing that I found out is, they'll be making them for like a year or two, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, that part's obsolete. So you've got to, once the part starts being on back order and not available, you have to find people who rebuild it and stuff. And so, or buy a refurbished one, because I was going to get mine rebuilt, and it ended up I got a refurbished one because mine wasn't, they said they couldn't rebuild it. And so, so anyways, but there was a whole huge ordeal, and I didn't have the car for weeks, and it cost, cost a couple $1,000s, and I think there's so many things where people are like, oh, I can't do it, because they're trying to figure it out ahead of time. To me, there's so much about just going towards it, and then it starts just happening. And so, and there's points where like, well, I don't know how the money's coming, but they're gonna, it's coming because it's gonna be taken care of, and then it always ends up working out. And if it doesn't work out, it's because there's lessons, there's different interactions you're supposed to have. So don't be like, oh, nothing ever works out for me. Wasn't supposed to. You're supposed to go through that part. So so then going through those, and then there's one with the house, like, how long has this been going now? And yesterday I got a thing, it was on a different, like a junk mail thing, and it was one of those things, like I have some certified letter, and it was from some financial place. It was probably another one of these threats of a credit cards suing me or something, because I stopped with them in 2020, and there was a lot on there. But once I started finding out about what was going on with the financial and the bank, and once you start knowing about their corruption, especially what they're doing with the money and stuff, it's like, fuck you guys. Like, I don't give a shit about this fucking credit score. But that ended up biting me in the ass too, because when you do things too quick, when you're trying to force things and make it happen too fast, you get bit in the ass, and then you have to, as your mom, use her credit to get a car because my other car broke down and I needed to get another car. So in that time, I had to get another car. And so I had to use my mom's credit, and then that got me on. Now I'm on her thing. Now I'm on her insurance too. But then there's a good part, because then anything they go looking for me, they got her address, which was like, that's a convenience. And then, but here, because to me and my communication, it's like, I'm just waiting to see what direction are you guys taking me. And then when they're fixing the bathroom up so nice, and I was like, okay, so maybe I'm not gonna lose this house in like a storm or something. I definitely think that, even when I was talking about with my son-in-law yesterday, because I was like, I feel like I've got not only squatters' rights on my side, because that's some bullshit with the squatters' rights. Like, you fucking call, like, no, you're gonna give them rights. Well, I get those same motherfucking rights, bitch. And then, but the homesteading, like, look up the homesteading rights. Like, it's something about, you make a certain amount of change. It's like 25%. It's not like a huge amount. That's why I said it's going to be a lot more about tending the land, that it becomes yours because you take care of it. And that's why you don't want to jump in more than you get. That's where it started being these ranchers and this control and these big rich ranchers that owned everything. And it was all corrupt. It was all some bullshit. And we've all been living on stolen land. So, but uh, the homesteading thing, Homesteading Act or whatever, so you go and you take land and you do improvements, then it's yours. And so, and I learned about that like a long while ago. I've talked about those before, when I had met somebody in Spokane, and they lived up on the mountain up by the ski place, and they said that and they had a whole bunch of land, and the person next to him had a whole bunch of land. So they had this whole part of land that neither of them went and paid much attention to, but all of a sudden somebody did, and they found that this guy was there working it. And I don't know what, he put up some structure. I don't know if he put a house, I don't remember. But, and then they tried to go after him. They lost. It's like, no, this is his now. That's no longer your land. It's his because he worked it. And he took care of it, and he improved it by a certain percent, which it could be 15%. I don't know. And it probably could be state to state. You gotta look it up. And so I was, and that guy was the fire chief. And the fire chief, there was articles about it in Spokesman Review or something, that he had done this at other places. He was going and taking land by homesteading it, by working it. And so, in primo land. So, then that is another thing. Like, if they came and they started trying to evict me, then you still have the problem, especially in a blue state, finding a conservative, or what is that called, Mr. McFarland? The constitutionalist attorney. So you have to find a constitutionalist, because the other ones are on the other system, the FIA, the Maritime. They are all taught that system, just like these doctors are taught the Rockefellers. They've all been taught this corrupt system that's not right. And so the constitutionalist, though, that is more based on, the God's law. And so it's more on the universal law of man. And so that it has to do with the homesteading and stuff. And to me, the fact that I have stopped paying them for so long, and I've told them that they are taking the money from my own account, which that's what they do, because when you get your security number at birth, and that is used on the trading system, so you are nothing but a value, you're a currency, you're a trade, what are those things called? Like a stock, you're just stock. Your number is a stock. And so everybody has a value, and they use these. And I think a part of the game is them, creating ghetto. They do things in the game, and then they do this betting. Like, they're on such a different level than us. It's so weird. But so they, so all of us in our account, we have a value. So we all have a value to the system, and that's the money that they loan us, is our value. So they take what you are valued at, and they sell it, they loan it to you, and then charge you more. So it's totally fucking corrupt, and it's totally fucking illegal, and this is all part of the bullshit. And then when they had said something, to me about my house, and I'd sent that, and then they sent it to the attorney, and then the attorney had said their bullshit back. That's why I was like, oh, you gotta have a constitutionalist attorney. They all aren't on the same system, what they were taught. So I was like, I'm fucking ignoring that guy. And but to me, that would be my right, that I would fight back towards the Whatcom County or whoever, it would be that I would be is I have homesteading rights. I haven't been paying them, and I've been continuing to improve this land. This is mine. This is my place. I don't give a fuck. And then, our problem in blue states is like you're fighting the corrupt system. And I don't know how long that's going to go on, if they're going to hurry and take them out, or if that's a part of the awakening, because the blue people is this, it's this energy. So, but this is way more red than what they're letting on too. And so that could be a part of what's going to all of a sudden show. So it's going to show, either more corruption or that things are going to switch. So, you just got to keep going with the flow. And it's stressful. It's stressful. Even on this stuff, like go back to the old playbook. The old thing is like, oh, now they're going to come in and take it all away from, and you don't feed that energy. It's like, no, you feed this energy. Like, this is mine. I have rights, and I'm not doing any motherfucking thing wrong. They're the fucking ones doing some bullshit. And the energy is on our side. The universe is on our side. So that energy is going in our direction. What's right. That's why you got to get in tune with yourself, or what's right and wrong, because it's going with us. It's not going with them anymore. And that's why it's all breaking apart. It's all fracturing. It's all exploding on itself, because the energy is changing. And it hurts. Yeah, it hurts when you're in the building and the glass starts shattering, and it changes your view of things. But that is why, when you're in the building, that's why it hurts. Like, these are why all these things is giving you these insights for you to move yourself out of the building, to let go of whatever it is you're holding on to. All the structures of this reality that they created, and how toxic it is, and how much it's very defeating to the soul. And so, but each person is on all these different levels of their, I'm scrolling like crazy, all their different levels of insights, different levels of communication, different levels of lesson. Like, everybody's on all these different things. So it's not like you can just go out and say, oh, well, everybody, this is what you got to do. No, everybody's got to kind of figure it out for themselves. And that's part of the challenge, but it's also a really cool part of the challenge, because that's where you really find yourself. That's when you really start getting in touch with your higher self, the smarter self of you. It's not the nonverbal. It's definitely got a lot to say. But that is where you start listening. And that is this merge, but it becomes very uncomfortable, because you have not been listening, and you've been filling yourself up with all this darkness. And so all this darkness has a hold on you, and you've got to let it go, let it go, let it go. And this, it's kind of, yeah, like Archie coming in. So your soul is going to be coming in, and it's not mean, but it's, but depending on how you feel about things, to see some things about yourself, then you can feel like, well, that was mean. But it's like, well, it's the truth, isn't it? And so seeing yourself truthfully and being honest with yourself is, can hurt. It can make you feel like God. But then, you just gotta, I don't know. Because you don't want to just be like, oh, there's just such an energy of these people who are like, the universe is out to get them, God's out to get them, God's on our side. How would a God let this happen? It's like, well, that's easy. Fuck, I've been saying this since I was a kid, because you learn from it. It's like you grow from it, and it's like, it seems simple, but yeah, it's like everybody wants this like candy life, like where nothing goes wrong. It's like, well, get back home then, because that's where you belong. This is where everything goes wrong. These are your challenges to see, like, what you can do. And I know there's like a lot of people who get super beat down, and I'm not saying they're a wuss or anything. There's real reasons why people are super beat down, especially right now. It's like everything Everything's falling apart. Everything's hitting you. The energy is crazy. The energy is and on so many levels, because even if you've been doing all this healing for years and years and years, it's fucking intense, dude. Man, I'm not even telling you this morning. Like, I was like, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, dude. You want to cry about the goddamn tree? Go outside. And it was like he just kept running and running, and I was like, I was just getting more and more frustrated and more frustrated. I was like, what the fuck, man? And I was like, this is so weird. And it felt like a fucking cartoon or something. And that's another thing too, was I just keep feeling like I'm in this cartoon, I'm in this dream, I'm in this cartoon, like nothing seems real. Last night, even when I was laying down, this was trippy, because I had the eyes coming at me again. It's like, I swear to God, too. They were trying to get me to focus on something, and I started looking, or I started thinking about something, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, there's the eyes. It's like, you tricky motherfucker. And so I opened my eyes real quick, and then it was like, eyes, 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 eyes. And I keep seeing things, like, wasn't just the old lady standing here. It's like, fuck it, there's like, I don't know, there's shit all around. There's people all around us, man, I'm telling you. It's like every time I like turn my eyes, like, oh my God, who's over there? Who's over there? It's like, what the fuck? The energy, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, feeling like a cartoon and feeling like nothing feels real. Everything feels like weird. But so anyways, no matter what, all of this stuff is very destabilizing on all different levels. Like, I don't think, I mean, there's no way that some of these people would be able to handle this. Like, they have to be at these different things, because everybody would be checked into mental hospitals, I think. I don't think they could handle it. Like I said, whatever level you're at, whatever things are going, just trust it. Just go with the flow. You see people walking around you. You see things flying past you. You know, weird shit where all of a sudden you think you're in a cartoon, then all of a sudden it's like, where am I and what am I doing? Like, just go with the flow. Just keep going with the flow. Just keep on. To me, maybe the grounding thing, pull yourself back into reality, to your reality. Just, okay, remember, we're here. This reality's falling apart. We're going into another one. It's okay. Everything's falling apart. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And just keep reminding yourself that, grounding yourself back into what's going on. But whatever is going on, because it's all on different levels. There's a lot of three-dimensional pain happening, and then it just goes all the way out. And so wherever you are on the spectrum, just trust yourself. And this is what a lot of it is about, learning to trust yourself, learning how to trust yourself and reading the signs, learning how to be in communication with yourself. Because remember, what you're doing here is learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you, like I've said. So I'll talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.